Should Starmer snuggle up to Musk?
Yeah, she's been on Grok again, making images.
All right, so let me just give a bit of context. So yesterday, would it have been yesterday? No, excuse me, day before yesterday, Nigel Farage and Nick Candy, the new treasurer of the Reform Party, met with Elon Musk in Mar-a-Lago, where they discussed potential financing of the Reform Party. They spoke for an hour and they basically had a bit of chit-chat like, this is what's going on in the UK. And apparently they got on very well. Farage apparently and Musk are, well...
Two peas in a pod?
Two peas in a pod.
They're going caving together.
Nigel Farage and Elon Musk are going caving together.
Yes. The Nutty Putty Cave.
And Nick Candy. Oh dear. So anyway, I got to think about this and we started talking about it at the desk, and then Ed and I had quite a violent argument about it. Once again, I was right. And
once again, stupid idiot Ed had an opinion and it was wrong.
They should stop letting you have those.
No, honestly.
You've only been allowed to have those since when was Holyrood built? When was it built?
Probably 97. It opened in 99.
Okay.
It didn't even open in 99.
So Scottish people haven't been allowed to have an opinion.
High Court in Edinburgh.
Until 1999.
Yeah.
So you should be grateful. What was that?
Busting my lip.
Don't do that. Okay. So we were talking about this at the desk, and I said I thought that Starmer had messed this up. I thought he had butchered this. I thought that he should have made connection or had some kind of attempt at a relationship with Elon Musk, who is one of the world's richest men, who is someone who is very interested in technologies which, by the way, the Labour government want to currently find investors in the UK for. And he's also going to be, on Donald Trump's council. He's going to be head of Doge.
Yes.
So he's pretty important. And in any other diplomatic scenario, we would have said, well, you've got to just suck it up and be friends. Ed had a different opinion. And that's all we've got time for.
Right. So Elon Musk in his free time amplifies conspiracy theories about Keir Starmer. How absolutely pathetic would it be if he goes over and tries to chum up with the guy who's suggesting he's encouraging Islamic threats to the UK? Elon Musk, if he was interested in traditional diplomacy, why would he be meeting with someone who's trying to oust the current government? Why is he not behaving as a responsible member of a foreign ally?
Can we go one by one? Because on your first point, the other day on this here podcast, we said that Kemi Badenoch shouldn't have had erupted a diplomatic row with the Vice President of Nigeria with her comments about the country. We said it showed she was inexperienced, that she wasn't able to hold diplomatic relations with other countries, right? Yes. So she wasn't a good leader. Starmer, ergo, should be able to hold diplomatic relations.
But I don't think you need to have diplomatic relations with Elon Musk. His job as the director of Doge is kind of busy work. He came up with the title of the department because it's a fucking meme. They're not going to be doing actual governance there. It's not actually that. I actually don't think it's that important.
Well, I think plain brain thinks. Can observe that what Elon Musk has done is rather frightening, and it would be better if you could ignore him. However, you can't. When you look at what he did to, say, Twitter, for example, when he took that on and he fired most of the staff, that's probably something he's going to do when he gets into government. He's going to make huge cuts. So it's not just busy work. He's actually going to have quite a material effect on American lives. He's also he owns a social media website that should be regulated in the UK. The only way that you can properly regulate that is if you are to meet with the owner and actually have discussions, have meaningful conversations with him. If you just shut him out, that website still operates here. Whether you agree with what he says or doesn't, a lot of people are reading that or accessing that every single day.
I don't really buy the argument that you need to engage. What is now gaining currency on X or Twitter is entirely Musk's design, basically. The algorithm has been changed to suit his bent.
But we know that.
No, I know. So why on earth would he engage in a good faith discussion about the appropriate regulation of that? It's to Musk's benefit that it's in its current state, like Twitter isn't the same website that was before the before the. Can I finish my point?
Yeah, but I was bored of it.
I don't think I'm not. Also, I think like is it a good thing for political parties to go cap in hand to billionaires and ask them for money?
So where did Starmer go before the election?
Where did he go?
Murdoch.
Well, I don't think that's good either.
And he went and he said, to News UK, and he made friends with The Sun, and he made friends with various broadsheets, and he said, please, can you put favourable coverage in your newspapers? Why is that any different when it comes to Elon Musk?
I think both are bad. I think having like a billionaire with control of the distribution of information and politicians having to kowtow to them, that's a bad thing.
Okay, let me give you another one. Lord Ali.
Right.
He was a billionaire.
Yes.
He was buying a lot of stuff for Starmer.
Yes.
Is his cloth cleaner than Elon Musk's?
Is his cloth than Elon Musk? Yeah, probably.
Right, well then let me try again.
Oh, the famous Lord Ali defender.
But he wasn't even in government. Elon Musk actually will be a part of that administration. I just basically think it's a real blindside. It's a weak point to have someone like Nigel Farage, very close friends with someone who is that close to the incoming American president, who has the ear of the American president. When you're a prime minister that is trying to secure some kind of US-UK trade deal, if you've got someone going round the back entrance to say Starmer's terrible, do not engage with him. I think that's a blindside.
But do we think that Nigel Farage is so influential that he's going to scupper the UK and the US's diplomatic relations?
But I don't know. But I just think that is a blind spot.
I think the government are. Well, I don't think they're totally abreast of the threat of reform. Actually, I don't really think they're engaging with it or handling it that well. I don't think they need to, just because Nigel Farage is doing something like going cap in hand and asking for hundreds of millions of pounds from a billionaire with probably nefarious intentions for UK politics. I don't think that means that Labour, because it's a race to the bottom. Like, in order for Musk to engage with Labour and the British government now, they would have to like really bend over for him. He would not just come and go, yeah, guys, actually, I would like to invest in the UK. Like, they'd have to offer him some real incentive. That probably isn't a good, it probably isn't a good thing.
With every single investment, there is always a bending over and having to offer ridiculous, like, for example, like what happened with Tata Steel. That billionaire, he was given £500 million and he was kowtowed to and God knows what else. You know, Rishi Sunak really bent over for him, but that was in a bid to, didn't quite work out the way he planned, but it was in a bid to preserve jobs in that area. There was potential to say, hey, Elon, do you want to put your big Tesla factory here, employ a hell of a lot of people, and then have a gateway into the EU from the UK? That would have been very good for the UK economy. I basically just think Starmer has made a real big effort to not engage in some parts of the culture war, right? He said, I'm going to go and have diplomatic relations with people like Mohammed bin Salman, and I'm going to have relations with, I would even speak to Putin. This is the sort of projection that he's made. Then to decide that Elon Musk is not worth your time, to me, is just
but is it not like
incongruent.
Is that not like engaging with Putin and not Abramovich?
Does he not engage with Abramovich?
No. Abramovich.
How do we know that?
I would be astonished if he was engaging.
Does Abramovich own SpaceX?
No, but he's a billionaire. Like he's got a lot of money that he could fund the UK economy. Does he have the key
to AI, like Elon? We're about to be flooded by AI,
and he's responsible
and
for
it. No one is ready for it. So it would have been sensible for some kind of governmental department to have a relationship with a team in Elon Musk's company that is pushing AI. It would be sensible to have a relationship with them.
But I think that aim is at odds with what Elon Musk wants to do. He'd prefer less tech regulation, less big government, less government, anything. So he does want a smaller state. Yeah, that's fair. If there is there'd be no compromise between the government and what Elon Musk wants.
But we don't know that because they didn't engage.
I don't think they need to. With Elon, they don't need to.
Well, do you know what? I know everyone in the comments is going to side with you. So
can I just make another point about reform in general?
No, we've got enough.
This is a good point.
Nah, it's all right. Anyway, thanks so much.
You're going to like it. You're going to like it. It's pro-reform.
So good.
I saw some people on the kind of radical right far right on Twitter saying they saw Musk with Candy and Farage and went, okay, it's reform. Reform is now definitely our vehicle, because the kind of the Tommy Robinson vein of the right in Britain. I think they've endorsed. I think they were quite pro UKIP now. Whatever the ghost of UKIP is, there are reform isn't at this point all consuming on the right in Britain. But I think there's a recognition now that if Musk backs reform, they will be the vehicle for the radical right. They will be the insurgent far right party and attract.
They're not far right.
But it will make them more attractive to far right people. Radical right, I suppose, rather than far right.
Radical right, yeah.
Yeah, but there will be. It makes them more attractive to people who are not quite on board the reform train yet. Who are like, well, they're not far enough.
I think it's the only reason I correct you on far right is because I think it's important to be careful with your language about far right, because when something actually far right happens, because we sort of overuse the phrase, it can be weaponized by people who are on the radical right to say, you call everything far right.
Yeah.
Then when one day something actual far right happens, like for example the Southport riots, everyone goes, oh, you just say everything's far right.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
No, I think that is an important distinction, but I think like reform dips into that.
Dips the toe.
They bark sometimes.
They bark.
They bark, like the clip of Farage in Southport talking about I'm just asking questions. That was barky.
That was actually, I thought that was howling at the moon.
Very good.